Hi, welcome to another Gentle Yoga Flow with Dan. My name is Dan Richards. I teach yoga at the JCC, and I hope if you've been following, you've been enjoying the Gentle Yoga Flows that we've been putting up since the pandemic. As always, if you have any requests or questions, feel free to reach out to me on the Facebook page. And other than that, we're going to get started today. Stella's joining us again today, so she may get up and move around a little bit, but hopefully she won't make too much noise, so it should be fine. Anyway, to get started today, we'll be doing mostly standing poses, but we'll start with a little bit of a seated few moments here. So find a comfortable seated position. I'm sitting up on a block and a blanket. You might want to sit on a cushion. You could sit in a chair. You could sit on the mat, sit on a book. Anything that's comfortable really is fine. So let's start off by finding that comfortable position. You can kind of rock back and forth a little bit to find the sitting bones at the bottom of your pelvis. Kind of know there's one on each side. You can kind of feel them. So rock back and forth on that, and then settle in and let a sensation of pressing down into those sitting bones and lifting up. So it's going to come kind of right from the belly button. There's a part of you that's pressing down, bearing down onto your seat, and then another part of you that's lifting up in the opposite direction, coming up from the belly button. And then close your eyes. And as you're sitting there, allow the world, allow sensations just to come into your body. Notice how you're feeling, notice how you're thinking, notice what your mind is doing. Maybe you hear whatever noise is going on in the background. It doesn't matter. Just sort of let those sounds come in, close your eyes, let the sounds sort of just rumble through your body, whatever they might be. And as all that noise and sensation and stuff is rumbling through your body, take a deep, big breath. Inhale up. And let it all out through your mouth. Again, inhale up. And let it all out. One more time. Inhale up. Exhale all out. And then from here, let your breath start to become a more steady and an even breath. So let the inhale lift you up. Exhale, let it out through the nose or mouth, matching the length of your inhale. And see if you can let yourself come into a nice, steady, even breath. Letting the inhale through the nose guide you as to the length. So whatever the length of your inhale is, match that exhale as you let it out through your nose or your mouth. So you start to develop a nice, steady, even breath, letting the air come in and out of your body. Allow the breath to continue to rise up through you. And at each exhale, let the breath will continue to let as much of the lift as you maintained on the inhale you can reach. And as you sit here, letting the breath go in and out, see if you can let the body just come to a fairly natural state where you're just sitting and letting the breath rise and fall. Steady and slow, even and full. Letting the breath as you inhale expand all the way through the body, upper body into the back. Maybe even feel the air reach into your legs, as if you can feel the whole body, feeling the air entering the system. And then bring your palms together at your heart center. Bring an intention to your practice today. And consider also two other things that you can bring to your practice today. Along with an intention, you can bring attention. So really watching yourself and paying attention to what you're doing, how you're doing it, how it feels. And then also consider the attitude you bring to the practice today. What are your thoughts and emotions and feelings as you're going through the poses? Are you feeling negative attitude, positive attitude? Just notice, don't judge, just be aware of how you're feeling and what your mental attitude is as you're doing each of the poses today. And then gently lower your hands back to your thighs. Take another couple rounds of nice long breaths, inhales and exhales. And then gently let your eyes open. And come out of your seated pose, and we will start in a standing position. So, move things out of the way. We'll start in a standing position. Have your feet even. Let your toes be facing straight out. Stand up nice and tall. In Tadasana, mountain pose. Arms by your side. Close your eyes for a moment. And press your feet into the mat. Feel the parts of your feet that are touching the mat. And then lift your toes up off the mat. And then notice again which parts of your feet are pressing into the mat. Keep the breath steady and even. Then lower your toes gently, but don't let the toes go to work again. Keep the toes soft. All the work is in the foot. And then as you stand here, start to develop a nice, long, steady breath. Even inhales and exhales. And then start to swing your arms back and forth as you breathe. Just rotate back and forth gently. Let the arms sort of swing you around. Be nice and steady and even. A few more rounds, just swinging back and forth. There you go. Soften the body, let the body go. Let the swinging arms guide you. And then let the arms slowly start to stop and slow down until all momentum is left. Come back to your Tadasana pose. Let the toes come off the mat. Stand up nice and straight. And then inhale the arms up. Come back to your breath. Open your eyes. bring your arms out to the sides, elbows bent at right angles. So these would be considered goddess arms. And notice how with your arms in this position, and as you start to bring your arms farther back as if you could touch your elbows, you're going to feel a scrunching up in the top of your back and neck. Notice that, okay? And then with your arms in this position, reach your arms up straight. And then lower the elbows back down. And then this time, bring your elbows forward, as if you're going to bring your hands together so that your elbows are now straight forward. And then turn your wrists, turn your arms so that your palms face behind you. And then inhale and lift your arms straight up overhead, reaching up. Keep rotating those arms as much as you can, keeping the elbows pointing forward, reaching up. And you may notice that with your arms in this position, you won't feel that scrunching feeling behind you in your back and neck. And that's because you've externally rotated your shoulders and you've taken the pressure off there as you reach up. And that's one of the things that we'd like to encourage while we're reaching our arms up like this. Now, bring the arms back down to your sides and shake them out. Come back to Tadasana. Inhale the arms up. Bring your palms together, interlace your fingers and point the index fingers. Take a big inhale. As you exhale, bend to the right. Now keep your feet strong in this pose. Keep pressing the feet into the mat. Keep reaching the hands up as you find a little more room to bend. So there's more than actions here. It's more than just bending, right? Your feet are really pressing and lifting. Your hips are reaching up. Your hands are reaching up, up, up as you're tipping over. So there's a lot of energy going from the floor to the fingers. Come back to center. Switch the interlace of your fingers, keeping the index fingers pointed. Take a big inhale, press those feet into the mat, lift up. And then as you exhale, fold the other way, bend the other way. Again, feet are strong, arms and fingers are reaching up as you bend to the left here. And then gently come on back up to center. And release the arms and shake them out. Now, again, this time you're going to inhale the arms out straight, palms down, feet are hip width apart. Take a big inhale. As you exhale, sink your hips, lowering down. Inhale back up. Exhale down. Inhale up. Exhale down. Inhale up. Inhale down. Exhale up. Now turn, let your palms face each other. And then as you inhale, lift the arms up and sink the hips. Each inhale, reach with the hands. Each exhale, sink the hips. Inhale with the arm, reach with the hands. Exhale, sink the hips. Last one. Inhale. Exhale, and then lower the arms and stand up and shake out the legs. Okay. Now, we'll face the long side of our mat here. And so we're going to do pyramid pose. So pyramid pose has feet that look like this. You've got one foot forward. We're going to start with the left foot forward. Right foot is back. The back foot is turned out, and depending on your description, you can, if your foot is like this, you're going to turn it in. If you're trying to be parallel, you're going to turn it out. So the foot's out here at an angle, about halfway, 45 degrees, maybe 60 degrees, depends a little bit on your body. And then bring your hands to your hips, and notice that your hips are pointing over here, right? And that's because we're partially turned out here. So we're going to turn. Notice, I'm going to turn and rotate our hips, okay? And maybe you can even, as you do that, you'll be able to turn that foot in a little bit more. So you're trying to get your hips to face forward towards the front of the mat in this direction. You may find it easier or harder. There's some adjustments you can make. Sort of the idealized pose is you'd want your heels to be sort of on a line, even with each other. You can make it a little bit wider, that helps with balance. You can make it a little bit shorter, that will help as well on some of the intensity. So you sort of find your own spot, right? You want kind of a nice width without overdoing it. Turn the hips to face forward. Take a big inhale. And then as you exhale, fold at the waist. Pressing, keeping the back straight. You can keep the back straight. You might bring the hands behind you. As you're coming forward, keep the back and keep the chest lifted, the back straight. As you come forward, press the chest down towards the mat. Coming back to that nice, long, steady breath. You might, once you've been in this pose for a few rounds of breath, you might bring your hands towards your front leg and let the back round and bring your forehead down towards the forward knee. But it's perfectly fine to stay in this position as well. So it's really kind of pay attention to what feels good. Again, we'll come back to attention. Listen to the body. Pay attention to what the body is telling you that it wants you to do. So, wherever you are, bring your hands to your hips. Take a big inhale. Come on up. Bend that front knee here. And step forward. Coming to Tadasana. And then from here, you step the other foot, the left foot back. Same foot position, although, depending on your body and what's normal and what feels right, you may adjust the feet slightly differently on this side. One side might be longer or more open than another side, or another side's a little tighter. You know best, you listen to your body, but you're going to try and find the same basic shape that you had on the other side. Again, hands to the hips. Notice which way your hips are pointing and rotate forward as much as you can so the hips are coming forward. Take a big inhale. And then as you exhale, fold at the waist. Bring your hands behind you. Lift the chest, press it down. Feet are strong. After you've done several rounds of breath with the chest lifted, maybe, if it feels comfortable, you can release the arms and let the head drop down towards the front knee. Again, letting the breath be steady and even. And then again, wherever you are, you can bring your hands to your waist. Inhale. Come on up. Bend the front knee. Step back to the front of your mat. Come to Tadasana. Okay. Now, next. We'll be in the same foot position. We'll do Warrior One pose. So it's the exact same foot position as we did for pyramid. Starting with the left foot forward, right foot back. So you can see my feet are in the same position. Hands come to my hips. I rotate my hips forward. The difference for warrior now is I'm going to bend my front knee. All right, so we were in this position. Now we're in this position. I'm still trying to keep my hips rotated forward. Bring my hands to my heart center. Inhale the arms up. Maybe bring the palms together to touch. Bring your hands back to your heart center. Hands to your knee, hands to your hips. And step forward, back to Tadasana. And then we'll step the left foot back. Same foot position. So foot's pointing forward, back foot's turned in, hands on your waist. Bend the front knee. Hips turn, hips are rotated to the front. Bend the front knee. Bring your hands to your heart center. Inhale the arms up. Maybe press the palms together. Bring your palms together at your heart center. Take an inhale and step forward and back to Tadasana. Okay. So yes, we're working a lot on the legs today. We have another leg pose to do. So this time we're going to do high lunge. So the other poses that we did, our back foot was turned out, so our foot was firmly on the ground. In high lunge, the back foot is turned completely in, and we come up onto the ball of our back foot. And we want our feet to be parallel to the mat. So we don't want to be turned out this way. We want to turn that foot, toes are pointing forward, hands to the hips. So you want a nice long stride, as long as you can here. Hands are on the hips. Take a couple just nice, good long inhale and exhales here. And then bring your hands to your heart center. Now, I should say from here, everything is sort of negotiable for you here. Maybe you're more comfortable keeping your hands on your hips. Maybe you need to make your feet wider for stability purposes. So keeping them parallel can be a balance issue. So maybe you make them a little bit wider, or you can make them, find that comfortable point. But it's important that you feel stable. Okay, that's the important thing. Feel nice and stable. And hands on your hips, hands to your heart center. Steady breath here. This is a strong, difficult pose for a lot of people. So let your breath sort of focus in. Bring your hands into this goddess arms. And bring the elbows forward. Inhale the arms up. Let your gaze go up between your hands. Maybe press the palms together if you can do it and maintain your balance. Hands back to your heart center. Hands to your wrist. And then on an inhale, step forward. Back to Tadasana. We're going to step the left foot back this time. Again, high lunge. Feet are parallel. Toes are both pointing towards all the toes are pointing towards the front of the mat. Generally want a good long stride. Hands to the hips. Lift the chest up so you're nice and erect. You don't want to be leaning forward. You want the back nice and straight. And then sink the hips, bend the knee. Sink the hips, bend the knees. Get as deep as you can. And maybe this is as far as you're going. You can just stay here. You don't need to do all the hand stuff. This is going to be working everything you need to work. Hands bring a little more levels of difficulty for balance. But, you know, it's really focus on the legs. That's the primary thing we're working here. Hands to your heart center. Inhale the arms to goddess pose, goddess arms. Bring the elbows forward. Inhale the arms up. Look up between the hands. Press the palms together. Hands to your heart center. Hands to your hips. Inhale, bring your weight forward, back to Tadasana. Okay. So for this next pose, we're going to do Warrior 3, and I recommend, if you can do it against the wall, that's great. If you have a chair handy, you can use a chair. I'm going to use a wall. And so in that case, I'm going to, so first, very quick and dirty. Warrior 3 is a pose that looks like this. Okay? Back leg is as up as you can, arms are extending, trying to become as flat and parallel to the ground as you can with this standing leg nice and straight. So that's a hard pose. So we like to do it at the wall. So you can do it by bringing your hands down so that your hips are over your legs, and then you can extend that leg back. So you can find a wall or a chair or anything to hold on to, really, and then press the hands straight ahead, reach the foot back, lift that back leg as high as you can. Those can be as parallel to the ground and perpendicular to the other leg as possible. Let the breath be steady and even. And then to come out, just bend the elbows a little bit, let the weight come forward, and come on down and step out. Okay. Same thing, other side. Hips over the ankles. Reach the other leg straight back. And really, using a wall or a chair really makes this pose a lot more accessible. You can actually work on this back leg, you know, because your arms are nice and steady. And you can work on reaching it higher, straighter, rotating it down so that the toes aren't doing that. The toes are straight down. Find a nice good pose for yourself. Steady breath. Even inhales and exhales. And then to come out, bend the standing leg, lower the foot, press off the wall or chair, and release. Okay. Now, we will do wide-legged pose. So your legs are, maybe 3 feet apart or maybe a little more depending on your length of your legs. Bring your hands to your hips. Toes are turned in any amount you can. Take a big inhale. Have a block or a blanket or whatever you want to use for your hands. If your hands don't reach the floor easily, you want some support. So a book or a block or anything like that. Take a big inhale up. As you exhale, fold at the waist. Come on over. Letting the head hang. And then lowering the hands down either to the floor or a block. Take a couple breaths here. And then we'll slowly walk our hands either on the floor using the block and over to the left side. And maybe bring our hands to the left leg and really press the forehead down towards the left knee. Take a few rounds of breath here. Nice and steady. And then bring your hands to the block of the floor. Come on back to center. Pause for just a moment. And then you can walk your hands with a block over to the other side, bringing your hands to the leg. And again, starting to twist and press that right knee, your right forehead towards the right knee. Nice and steady and even. And then release. Let the hands come back to the block of the floor. Come back to center. Bring your hands to your waist. Inhale. Come on up. And then to come out, you can heel toe, heel toe, heel toe. And release. Okay. Now, we did goddess arms before, so we're going to do full goddess pose. So this time you're going to turn your feet out. Now, how far you can turn your feet out, going to be different for other people. Right? And the way you can measure it is you want your knees to come out over your toes as you bend your knee. As you bend your knees, the knees should go straight out over your toes. So if you can turn your feet out way far, but your knees are coming out that way, you might want to back off a little bit so that your knees really can be more in line with your toes. So get into that position first, hands on your hips. Have the chest up so you're not down like this. Chest is up. Sink the hips down any amount you can. And bring your arms out to your sides. Elbows bent at right angle. Goddess arms. And then squeeze the elbows back behind you. And as you do that, you'll feel like the area between your shoulder blades start to scrunch up and feel some tension. That's it. Sink the hips a little bit lower. Pull the elbows a little farther back. And just keep going back and forth, sinking the hips any more you can, pulling the elbows back. A couple more breaths here. And then to come out, bring your hands back to your waist. Straighten the legs. Turn the feet in and step up. Okay, so done with standing poses. We're going to do just a few more poses down on the mat here. So come onto your hands and knees. We're going to do a forearm plank. So we'll do about 10 breaths in forearm plank. You can come in and out as much as you need to. Whatever feels right. You can maybe go up and down 3 times or 1 time or 10 times. Whatever kind of works for you. Just listen to your body. Breathe nice and steady and even. So, to come into the pose, come onto your forearms, interlace your fingers. From here, you're going to step 1 foot back, step the other foot back. So you're on the balls of your feet. And then reach with the crown of the head forward. Bring the body into a nice flat plank. Come back to your breath, nice and steady and even. And reach with the crown of the head forward as you press your heels back behind you to get nice and flat and straight in your plank. That's it, nice. About halfway there. Notice where you're feeling sensation. Bring that awareness into your mind, into your body. Maybe you've been in and out of the pose a couple times already, whatever. 2 more nice long breaths here. And then to come on out, lower the knees, point the toes. And come on down to the mat with your forehead. Bring your hands by your sides. Slide your hands up towards your low waist. Come onto your fingertips. Squeeze your elbows together. Take a big inhale. Lift the head, chest, and shoulders off the mat. Squeeze the elbows in. Press the top of the feet into the mat. As you breathe. One more breath. And then lower down all the way. Bring your hands by your low ribs. Fingers point forward. Inhale, press all the way up to upward dog. And then come to down dog. And this is sort of a down dog for you. Sort of use the pose to feel whatever feels like it needs to move for a moment here. Just pressing in and out, bending the knees. Maybe coming up onto the toes, pressing back. Just really feel your body. Feel the body in this pose. And then settle in for a nice long 5 long breaths here as we sort of wind down. So that we're going to end up in child's pose. So feel free to go into child's pose at any point from here. I'm going to do about 5 nice long breaths. And then lower down to your knees. Spread your knees nice and wide. And enjoy a short child's pose here. And come on up. And then make your way over onto your back. Lie back. Bring your knees into your chest. And just roll back and forth a little bit. We're giving the massage, your low back and mid back, just a little massage as you roll around. And bring your feet to the mat. Cross your right leg over your left. We're going to do a supine twist here. Spread your arms out wide, legs are crossed. Walk your foot in as close to your butt as you can. Lift up the hips, rotate the hips a little bit to the right as the knees fall to the left. And again, the thing to really measure here is you want to make sure that your back is on the floor. So if you've crossed your legs and your back is up off the floor, you're sort of losing the twist. So you can slide something under your leg to support you and keep this back flat. Right? And that will help you reach the range you need to for your twist, right? And not compromise the twist by letting the shoulder off the mat. And then you can turn, let your gaze go out over your right fingertips. And bring your head back to center. Bring your hips around back to middle and uncross your legs. And then same thing on the other side. So I'll show you from this direction. Arms out wide. Cross the left over the right. Walk the right foot in as close as you can to your butt. Lift the hips up. Swing the hips to the left. Knees fall to the right. And again, if my knees come all the way down to the floor, my shoulder's coming way off the mat and I've lost it. So, I take my blanket or block, whatever, pillow, book, anything, kind of put it right under this leg here so that it blocks. It can only go so far. Arms are out wide. This knee is I'm still getting significant stretch across the outer hip. I turn, let my gaze go out over my left fingertips. And breathe. Letting the breath fill the body. Notice where the air goes as you inhale it in. Come out of the pose, bring your head back to center. Bring the legs back to center. Uncross your legs. And extend your legs out straight. And prepare for Shavasana. So, anything you like to have or use for Shavasana, grab that. Otherwise, extend your legs out straight, have your arms by your side. Find a nice, comfortable position to be in as you settle into the mat for corpse pose. Shavasana is a pose where we're really sending a message to the body that there's no more work to do. We've asked it to do lots of hard things. Now it's time to be still and quiet, to simply be and recover and savor how that feels as our eyes are closed and our sense of sight is limited. As we slow down the breathing and remove from a conscious way, letting the breath return to its unconscious state. Letting the eyes soften, letting the belly soften. Maybe you try to bring a smile to your face. Notice how that smile can soften the entire cheeks, entire face really. And as you lie here, taking in the sounds that are nearby, see if you can both hear them and at the same time detach from them. So be willing to let the sound be what it is without it sort of encroaching on your space, your sense of Shavasana. As you build an impervious shield of quiet and steadiness in Shavasana. As you take a few minutes for yourself in quiet, and for recovery, Shavasana. Bring some motion back into your fingers and your toes. Maybe wrinkle your nose. As you slowly start to bring energy and life back into the body. Keeping your eyes closed, bend your knees and roll onto your right side. Pausing here for just a moment or two to reflect and sort of feel what coming out of Shavasana feels like. And then keeping the eyes closed, make your way up into a comfortable seated position. Sitting up nice and tall. And then as you're sitting up in your seated pose, bring your palms together at your heart center. Recall the intention, attention, and attitude that we started the practice with. Acknowledge that intention. Bring a sense of love and gratitude into your heart. Namaste. Thank you for joining me today for this Gentle Yoga Flow with the JCC. I hope you enjoyed it. Again, if you have any questions, comments, feel free to reach out to me on the JCC Facebook page, and I hope to see you again soon. Have a great day. Thank you.